Well, welcome to Lake Heritage. This is the year that we're planning for our 50th anniversary of the founding of Lake Heritage as a community. And we are very fortunate in having two of the very original owners of property here at Lake Heritage, Grace and Dick Emerson. And they've been here ever since. And we're so pleased they have given us their time to give us some thoughts and backgrounds and some experiences perhaps of what took place here during their tenure at Lake Heritage. I'm watching you. Well, Dick and Grace Emerson, we're so pleased to be here in your lovely home, out here in your sun porch and everything. It's just so nice for you to entertain us and take on the opportunity to discuss your background with Lake Heritage. And one question that comes to mind, have you always been citizens in Adams County, or did you live here? And
No.
what prompted you to select Lake Heritage as a homestead?
We lived in Littlestown, and when the lake was just starting, about the realtors being in here and stuff, we went to,
Perhaps a meeting of something to discuss, the properties?
no, we just went up the road and saw where the lake was going to be put in, and Dick was very excited about it. And
The Marines get excited very easily, don't they?
because we only,
Yes.
and so we ended up here because Dick came home late one night from work, and I wondered where he'd been. And finally, when he did get home, I said, "Where have you been? You're so late tonight." And he said, "I stopped at Lake Heritage, and the lake isn't in or anything, but I talked to the realtors and I bought a lot."
Waterfront
A
lot.
waterfront lot. My response was, "Are you crazy?" And he said no, and so we kind of laughed at it, because, he was thinking about his being able to fish, and I was thinking about we had 2 children to send to college.
Very good thoughts on both parts.
Yeah.
And they both ended up going to college and graduating from college.
As being one of the first residents moving into the lake and having your home constructed, did you have many neighbors around you, like adjacent homes and houses
The brick home was Ed Beard.
down the end?
No,
Where was he?
it's just 2.
2 or 3 homes.
2 or 3
over.
homes up. Okay,
Yeah.
1-story
Yes.
brick home. Okay,
And Ed Beard lived there.
that was your closest neighbor, so to speak.
Right.
Oh,
Because the lot where the big White House is,
uh huh.
we owned that lot too.
Yes, that's right.
For a
I
long
remember
time.
that.
Called
Well, with very few homes in the neighborhood, what prompted you to decide that Lake Heritage was going to be your homestead? I recognize probably a decision by one or both of you.
Well, it was mostly he wanted to live on a lake so he could fish.
Uh-huh.
I've always fished. I was born and raised on a farm down in a 600-acre farm down in Maryland. We had a mile of waterfront on the Susquehanna River and a mile of waterfront on Deer Creek. We had 2 miles of waterfront when I was growing.
Did you ever catch anything?
Oh, hell yeah, I saw a lot of fish.
He grew up on water, and that's
Uh-huh.
what, made him want to come here.
And you got used to it after you married him, right?
Right.
Okay, when you moved here and had your home constructed and looked out the back windows here, which is a beautiful view today, what did you see out there at that point in time?
Big dust bowl.
and little ponds where I guess the weather blew water in that.
Well,
we
there
had
was a little
ponds.
bit of water always came in the upper end of the lake.
Well, we have a couple of springs, don't we?
Yeah, the
Drop up
springs
in the
up
bottom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
So there was never,
you had a big mud bath out there. Is that what
Right.
kind of
About
what it
it.
was?
yeah,
Dust Bowl.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And of course, we didn't have any grass to speak of or any, trees. Or
Uh-huh.
we planted the trees and stuff on
Yeah.
our yard.
And Dick did the grass, right?
Yes.
Okay, as long as you
But-
got him out there working, then away from the fishing pole with no fish in the lake. How about the roadway network? What was that like back in the dark ages, so to speak?
Yeah, pretty primitive.
It was all
It was partially paved, and American Realty, I think, eventually did the whole main Heritage Drive around the lake.
Uh-huh. This was after several homes were here?
Yeah, and then the homes started popping up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because it was we drove on dirt roads at the beginning.
Uh-huh.
And it was a dust bowl out there for a long time.
Couple of years, would you say?
Well, no, about a year maybe.
Uh-huh. And when did the water start coming in?
Well, there was a little bit of water coming in all the time because there's a stream up here at the
Yeah.
end of the lake, and whenever the weather was wet or normal, you always had a little bit of water coming into the lake, but it really wasn't enough to fill it. You had to have really
Oh.
heavy rains.
The lake didn't fill until about the second year we lived here,
Uh-huh.
and I think we moved here in about 1960, Dick,
Probably.
and we built this house.
Oh, you did? You didn't
I
have...
used to sell these homes, and
Oh, did you?
I sold about 100
Because
of
it's
them.
all solid redwood.
That was part of your vocation?
Well,
Well,
I
that
had
was
the
a sideline.
I had the franchise here for Timber Lodge Redwood Log Homes from the J.F. Pritchard Company. And where were they located?
I can't remember. Maybe Illinois.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Okay. When you decided that you wanted to buy this, how did you hear about American Realty as being the sponsor, so to speak, of the community and putting in Lake Heritage as such? Did you just come across it by happenstance or traveling from Littlestown to Gettysburg and came by and saw a sign, or do you recall that?
Well, there
Yes.
was a lot of publicity in the
Was it?
papers about
Right.
it.
Publicity in the newspaper was what,
Attracted him?
yes.
Uh-huh. That and a
And,
picture of a big fish?
And so then he finally, I guess, coming by. The road was in from the and I guess that's what drove
From
him in here.
97 in, huh?
Right.
Huh. Well, there must have been some promotion going on to get people to come in here and at least look and consider buying properties. And,
Right.
did you get any consideration at all about, being a property owner in the beginning?
Well, they were running all kinds of promotions, and one of them was they gave away ponies one weekend. Of
Real
course.
live ones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And the worst thing that could happen really was wind went on, because then you had to feed it and
Take care of it.
take care of it, you know.
Were you lucky?
And put a place to board them because we couldn't have it here.
Well, were you a winner?
Yeah,
Yes.
you wouldn't
You
want
were a winner of a pony, huh?
Yeah.
Well, at least that made the kids happy, right?
Oh, our kids were thrilled.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they were thrilled. They love this place. In fact, Patty grew up. They both grew up here, and so now she has that home to sell in York, and she said, "No, Mom." In fact, she's got some girlfriends that they said they're all going to move in.
Okay, that's good.
Well, because we have 6 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms in the basement.
Yeah, you got to find people. Did you put the pony in one of your bedrooms? Not to start with, huh?
put it over here. What was it?
With clap saddle.
Clap
saddles,
saddles,
yeah.
the place over
Up there,
here.
yeah. Well, to the best you recall, when was the dam at Lake's End completed, or you know, was it in progress at the time you moved in, or what was the status of the dam?
The dam was built and it was there. The only problem was it was a long dry spell and there was very little water in the lake.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very limited amount of water.
But the
And
dam
everybody wondered if it ever
Never
filled.
going to fill? Yeah, you're right.
But they were, I think, still, you know, there was still a lot of realty, or the building for the dam. There were still people doing something, but basically you could see the dam, you know.
Uh-huh. Stay with it. Was the Corps of Engineers involved at all that you know of as far as the construction of the lake or
I
dam?
don't think so.
Uh-huh.
I'm not even
Okay.
sure.
Because tell us about any background on the pool?
Yes, when the pool was put in, Bob, what's the guy's name from the college? He was the manager of the pool. I mean, he ran it. Isn't that awful? And I was just thinking his name the other day.
But we'll find it somewhere. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it. It's out there.
Yeah,
But he was from the college and he ran the pool per se.
yeah. That first,
And did your kids
couple
use the
of
pool?
years. Oh my, yes.
They like that?
And, you know, I've got skin cancer all over my forehead. I have some on my leg. And I used to go to that pool every day
Uh-huh.
and sit and bake with. And we had a few women, and we had several couples that came to the pool that owned a lot here that they never built. They've probably resold their lot. But they came because
It was a
Of
good
a lot.
facility, and I don't think there was any YWCA pool at that time, and
right,
nothing available in town that I would know
that
of.
was
I
correct.
think we had the only pool in Adams County at that time.
That's very possible, yeah.
Go.
Somewhere along the line, it was mentioned that at one time there were hay rides, and clubs offered different activities for the families that were here, and the fun that they could get together and do things. Do you recall any of them?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we did, you know, have hay rides.
Did you? Did you go on them?
I don't think Dick and I did, or we went on once or twice.
Uh-huh. But you
Right.
got the kids out of the house, right?
Yeah, right.
That's wonderful. Were there other things that some of the clubs may have done at that time?
Yes, we went up to see plays at
Totem pole?
Totem Pole.
Yeah. They were in business back then,
Yes.
Okay.
hmm They were in business when we even moved in this
Oh, wow.
area. Because
Didn't
from
realize
Littlestown,
that.
I used to go to them.
huh? Uh-huh.
What other thing?
Well, that's good enough. Yeah. Of it.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, let's go in. Laura Day thought you remember the original board, but you were on the board, I know that. I just can't remember when. Because she dug your name out of the
Okay.
minutes somewhere along the line.
Yeah, along the
But I don't
beginning,
recall
I
that.
think I served on
I
the
think
board
I'll
for a while.
introduce it, you know, during your time here, that you were you had become a member of the board, and as such, you watched the growth of the community, and then, of course, when you originally bought the property, you paid dues or assessment. Can you reflect on that? And we'll
Yes.
go with that.
Go.
When you came, the board of directors was set up, and during your span of time here, Dick, I know you were on the board for a period of time, and you know things as the community grew with the board, etc. And can you kind of reflect on when you first came? You know, what were the assessments or dues, or what the background was of support of the community?
Well, I think at the
I
very
remember.
beginning, the dues were only
$30.
$8, weren't they, or something?
Well, they
like
might have been the very first ones, but then they worked up to $30.
Mm-hmm.
And now
That's
they-
because Dick was on the board, right? They need to pay him more.
high price.
That's right, high-priced help.
Oh, Lord, I'll tell you.
And of course, I'm sure the community, as it has grown, of course, needs a lot of maintenance, being 50 years old almost. And we can see just how well the men have done this year with the heavy snows we had, that, you know, we were better off than the state highways most of the time.
That's
Yep. What type of an entrance did we have back then? Did you have a gatehouse or an entrance way to, you know, show that you belonged here?
I don't recall a gatehouse, but we had a private road, and there were signs that said it was private. And so we didn't have too much trouble with people coming in, because in the beginning there weren't enough houses for them to worry with.
Yeah.
But we got the gatehouse was built then, not too soon after, you know. It came pretty quickly after, but it wasn't
It wasn't a formal type entrance
Right.
type thing as
Right.
we have today.
right. The guys stood there sometimes.
Yep. Okay. Now that you've been here so many years, so to speak, can you reflect back about what it was like then and what you have seen that you found interesting, helpful to your family, or, you know, changes that are positive for the community of Lake Heritage?
Well, I think that the kids, that my experience with my children, you know, they had a lot of friends in here. So it was good for them that they had friends, that they went to school together and that sort of thing.
What school did they go to? Were they Gettysburg?
Gettysburg.
Gettysburg, and they all, I guess, got a bus. The bus went around and
Yes.
picked the children up.
Right, but instead of, and they seldom rode the bus because their dad worked in at the Adams County, and so he would drive them into school
Okay.
rather than take the bus.
It was not very convenient. Did the kids back, as the kids were growing up and the lake had water in it, thank goodness, what was the activities? Did your kids participate in anything water sports wise, or do anything exciting?
My kids learned to ski here because they were so young, you know. And then after they learned to ski, why, they wanted their friends to come. And I just wished I'd have taken pictures because we had several parties that the kids were allowed to invite whoever they wanted. And that's when I was a lot younger and could cook and prepare meals and stuff. But, yes, and in fact, the thing that, since I have been here, that lake, once it filled, it was just constantly bubbling because we had skiers that owned property but didn't live here, and the few that did live here were skiing, and that you couldn't hardly look out through the summer months and not see skiers. I mean, the lake was busy, and it's died down tremendously.
That's it.
Oh,
That's
my,
an
yes.
interesting observation.
Oh my,
There's
yes.
a lot of springs out there in the lake, and that helps keep the lake cool and
Yeah.
fresh water
Keep
coming
it
in
clean,
all
yeah.
the time.
Well, when you go in swimming and you walk out, you can feel it.
Yeah, this on the bottom of your feet.
Yeah.
Do you get tickled? Reflect back and the neighbors you've known over the years, and mainly the time when your children were growing up. I'm sure there were people that they had as friends that lived at the lake and did
Right.
things together, went somewhere together. Hayride, for instance. And of course, there are still one or two persons who still own the properties from back in your era. And can you reflect on, perhaps who they were and, what your relationship might have been with them, either through children or through yourselves?
Oh my. I can't remember a lot of their names, but I can visualize them,
Okay, that's good. How about Gorman?
Oh, well, yeah, and Gorman.
Because he grew up here. I remember he told me he was one of the first ones to go in the swimming pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, probably along with your son
Yeah, because
also.
they went to school together.
Yeah.
There were a lot of families that moved away then.
Uh-huh. Well, Ron Pack never moved away, and of course he's still got a bunch of properties there across from the marina.
Mm-hmm.
Was the marina here when you came? There used to be a Realty, Mountain something Realty, as I remember it.
American Realty.
Yeah, well, it was in the building up there by the marina, as I recall.
No, I don't recall any
Yeah,
realtor
okay.
up there. The people that, there was a beauty shop.
Yeah, it's still back there now. It came back
Yeah,
after
right.
transitions.
Yeah.
Well, tell me about Doc Greenholt. How come he bought next door to you after knowing you previously? I'd be surprised,
Well, he loved to fish.
Uh-huh. Your husband didn't? He had to learn?
Well, what's interesting, Dick sold both our boats. We had a ski boat
Uh-huh.
and a little rowboat. And who's the fella up the lake? Oh gosh.
Gene Pruner?
No.
Oh, okay.
But Gene owned property here
Yeah.
and fished a lot.
Oh, yeah, he loved fishing, I know.
Yes. Darn. I'm trying to think of.
Well, tell us about how we got the Emerson Greenholt fish tournament going. How'd that happen? Who stocked the lake for that?
The fishing club.
Fishing club did?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. And the two of them, they wanted to get more kids involved in it.
Uh-huh.
Because a lot of the kids were just our son, Gorman. There weren't a lot of kids interested. They just didn't think that, that there was too much water and they couldn't swim yet, But
Uh-huh.
because after a while, the fishing club grew with kids, but we didn't have a fishing club for a good while.
I think Larry Brogan was the first president, wasn't he?
I think he probably was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause, yeah. I know he enjoyed fishing.
Mm-hmm.
Still does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's Larry live now?
He's across the lake.
Oh, is he?
Moved to a different house.
Oh,
He moved from his original house that he had years ago.
Yeah, he
About
lived in.
8 or 10 years, he moved to another house
I think-
adjacent.
I think they lived in one of the old houses.
Yes, originally, one of the
Yeah.
older ones.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Yeah. With the Emerson Greenholt complex of fishing tournament for the kids, which is great, what did you feel was the benefit of being here all year long when, the lake freezes over and you end up with, having to heat your house here? Why did you choose this as a permanent residence as opposed to so many people making it summer home type of a residence?
Well, Dick sold these
Timber lodges.
timber lodges, and I really liked them. I liked rustic stuff, so we began to talk about, a log house would look nice here, Dick.
Uh-huh.
So, and we lived in Littlestown, and so when we decided to build, and it was going to be a year-round home, though. We didn't figure we could afford two homes when we had two kids to educate.
Uh-huh.
So,
Ice fishing.
So then
He
you
came
got
from-
here all year long, and you were
Yes.
permanent residents, whereas some of them were comers and goers as far
right.
as coming
In
up
fact,
for
in the early years, there were a lot of people.
transient.
and a lot of people from Washington, D.C. and Maryland
Baltimore.
and Baltimore. But I think a lot of them have moved away or held onto their property, and now they are elderly, like Dick and
I was going
I.
to say, do you know any elderly people?
Are you kidding?
The only thing I do know.
Oh yeah,
Well-
I'm 84 and he's 85. Ooh,
Yeah.
it's scary.
You're just a kid to me. You and I are about equal.
How about ice fishing?
Yeah, I was going to say, so during the winter, what'd you do for your fishing habits? Did you actually go out and do ice
Oh, yeah.
fishing or anything?
Yeah, I did a
How'd you
lot
do
of-
that? What'd you do?
Well,
Pick a
went
point?
out there
You know,
and
they grilled.
drilled holes in the ice and fished through the ice.
Did you sit out there and on a little stool
uh-huh.
and hope the fish were biting?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
always
did that.
had-
Him and Dick Greenhold did a lot of that.
Uh-huh. They were
because-
good company out there, huh? Did you have a cool beer with you or anything?
I've had many a one out
Oh,
there.
okay, good.
Dick
That's
Greenhold
wonderful.
wasn't much of a beer drinker.
Yeah, well, fishing made him into one, right? You know, ice fishing in where I live down the other end, Jerry Gakowski, you know, he's from Minnesota, and he would go out there and ice fish every year.
Yeah.
And now, you know, Marie has moved,
Right.
and Jim, their son, has taken the house,
Is that
and
right?
his wife and family. And he goes out there in honor of his dad this last winter and was ice fishing out off the point where his dad used to fish. And I
Isn't
thought
that
that was
dear?
kind of neat that,
Oh,
that we're
yeah,
doing
that's
that.
dear.
Just, you know, remembering his dad. When you moved here 50 years ago, did you ever think that this community would grow to almost 900 homes?
No.
You know, you ever think of that,
I can't.
you know, that
hard
vast
to-
expansion?
Yeah, it's hard to imagine how
Yeah.
the community has grown.
Yep. And
It's
it
been a
seems
great.
most community, I think, you know, as you said, no, you never thought it'd grow. Well, you know, it was kind of closed in and kind of off the beaten path. And now all of a sudden we have many, many neighbors.
Yeah.
As I
Been a
said,
great
most of them
place.
very nice people.
Yeah, it's been a great place to live.
Have you ever regretted moving to Lake Heritage?
No,
Well,
no,
No,
absolutely
no regrets?
not.
Well, gee, you didn't know me early enough.